Howdy all, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so I am still in this college, I think it is. I mean, it's some kind of school, definitely, but like I discussed previously, I haven't seen a lot of schools with bookstores in them that aren't colleges. It is nighttime, which will make this interesting. Thanks, dude. Thanks. And my dude is pretending he's freezing to death for some reason. Yeah, see, bookstore. Which I find a little weird. Not the bookstore, that my guy is pretending to freeze to death. Have I been in here? I am seriously going to die from being cold. I'm indoors. This isn't even a frozen biome. Or is it a frozen biome? I mean, I guess that was a... When did it become a frozen biome? There isn't snow. I don't know why he's so cold. I guess I'll go back and get that sweatshirt. I don't know where I just killed that guy, though. Maybe I can find some warmer clothes somewhere. Where was I at where that guy attacked me? It's in one of these rooms, right? Wasn't that one? Was it down here farther? I don't know. Yeah, it feels pretty weird to be done with work so early today. Easy. I don't know why easy was going to come out. The last couple weeks we've had a huge project that we've been working on. So we finally got to the point where we weren't working on that anymore this week. And I don't think I finished till 8:30, 9 o'clock, like every day the last 2 weeks. And today I was done by 5:30. So it's crazy. Guess I did move around a little bit in here. But it's, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this extra time. There's not really extra time. There's just... don't have to work time. I don't think a football... Oh, what about this? What about this? I feel like this might... Is my chest armor broken? My chest armor is broken. My poncho is broken. Where's my temperature thing? Is that going up? That's going up now. Okay. So we're bare-chested, but we put on a coat. So now he thinks he's doing better. So I guess we'll be okay for right now. Yeah, my nieces are over, and so we spent all day yesterday pretty much playing a fairly complicated board game that I've got called Descent: Journeys in the Dark. And ooh, that one's in better condition. And which I don't get to play very often. And so I asked them if they wanted to play a board game because they were trying to find something to do. And I gave them several options, and they picked that one. We didn't play with the expansions. I've probably got half dozen expansions to it because it's one of those board games. And it's pretty fun. Oh, I have been in here. It's kind of a weird game because you pick out your character, and the characters all have individual abilities, and there's 8 to choose from, I think. And it's a 4-player game, up to a 4-player game. And so, then on top of that, depending on how you play, there is oh man, I want that other here there. You gain experience when you complete missions, and then you spend the experience points to gain yourself new abilities, and then on top of that, you also gain money and treasure and stuff like that, and so you can spend that stuff to increase your defense and offense, because there's defense and offense roles in the game. And so it's a pretty complex kind of game. And I really like it. But we played that for hours yesterday. I think we went through like 8 or 9 different quests, which are like it's a board game, but the board is made up of puzzle pieces, kind of, and so there's a quest book if you want to follow the quest book that tells you how to. Oh, I should turn on the light. And so we were, and so you as you work your way through, you put down the puzzle pieces. Well, I put down the puzzle pieces all at the start, and then one person plays the bad guy. So I guess there's 5 players. 4 player characters, and then the Overlord. And oh, you want to hit this guy? There you go. And then I don't know what she's doing, but and so the Overlord also gets experience points as you play, and the Overlord has got a deck of cards that gives him special abilities to play with to hurt the heroes or empower the bad guys, stuff like that. And so I keep forgetting to draw my cards though, and then it's like the end of the mission, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't draw any cards today. Oh man, I can't hit her. There we go. And so, yeah, it's pretty fun. And so we went through a few missions. Like there's a bunch of different dice that come with it. They're all six-sided dice, but they have different things on them. And so the there's attack dice and there's defense dice. Oop. And so for the most part, everybody who all the players start with like one gray defense die, and then everybody rolls the blue attack die, and but then you usually get to roll another attack die on top of that, and then I think it's a little more complicated. If you're doing a ranged attack, you have to roll when you roll the dice. There's numbers on the dice, and the numbers add together to tell you how far you were able to shoot, and so whatever you're trying to hit has to be within the numbers added together. But there's also the you completely missed on the die, and then what else they got in there? I don't know. And anyways, so you play with all those different dice, and then like you buy a shield. Well, a shield might add 1 to your defense. And so when you roll your defense die, you automatically add 1 to it. Or like, I know one of them picked up an axe that she was using, and the axe adds piercing. So now when the enemy rolls defense, you automatically pierce through one of their defense rolls. Stuff like that. I think one of them got better armor, so they upgraded to a gray die and a brown die for defense, and I know the one guy, my nephew, he was playing the Necromancer, and so he bought the ability with his experience point to give his summoned zombie a brown die for defense, because it had no defense to start with. Okay, I think that's where I started. Oop. Alright, well I guess let's see about heading out of this place. If I can find a road somewhere. But one of the interesting things though is that it's not like a dungeon crawler game where you fight your way from the entrance to the exit, because I do have a few of those games too. But this one has like objectives, and so for example, the one the last 2 that I think we did, we might have done one after that one, but 2 of the last ones we did were the heroes come upon a farmstead that's on fire near a town, and actually I think that's the first quest, so scratch what I said. The first quest we did which was actually like the second and third map, was they're monsters, and they're close to where the heroes come on the map. And then on the opposite end are other monsters whose goal is to steal all the grain. And so the more grain they steal, the more powerful the boss is in the second mission. And then um, the monsters made it off with all the grain, so the boss has got a lot of extra hit points, which I forgot to add. But um, in the second half of that mission, they're trying to rescue this guy who's being interrogated, and but the Overlord doesn't know which guy it is, and so you take 4 tokens, 3 red and 1 blue, and then on the back of them they just have question marks. And so you shuffle them, you put them down on the board, and then every one of your minion bad guys has to go and collect a prisoner and then bring it back to the boss, and the boss has to interrogate him to find out if he's the guy or not. And so the Overlord, played by me, has to roll a check, a strength check, to see if I can get the information out of the prisoner on whether or not he's the person I'm looking for. And so it took me, it was the 4th one, and I think it took me like 8 tries to, or 6 tries to interrogate them successfully. And so by the time that was all done, the heroes had cleaned out all of the bad guys, and there was just the boss left. And they did a lot of damage, so they defeated me. But then there was another one where they come into a town that's under siege, and they have to light the 4 beacons. That's their objective. But the Overlord's objective is to kill all the civilians. And so I succeeded, meaning that I won that map. And then the next map, that meant that the good boss for that map that they were trying to protect did not have his militia, because they were the civilians that I took out in the first map. And so and then I actually won those 2 maps, but the good guys still get an experience point. It's just that when the bad guy wins, he gets 2 experience points, which lets him buy more or better cards depending on his choice. And it's a fun game system. That is not a road, and it's not a system. It's a actual game. And then they have expansions that come with like new bosses and new bad guys and new heroes and new map pieces and new quest books and stuff like that. And so I have all of it, but nobody ever wants to play because it's complicated, and it's not a, sit down and play a game of Monopoly one afternoon when you have time. It's we need to schedule when to sit down and play kind of thing, because it's a quest line and you want to get all the way through the quest line. And although they do have an app now for it that plays the bad guy, and so I had been thinking, since no one ever plays D&D here anymore. I mean, I do. I play lots of D&D, but I don't play any here because everybody's, well, my sister says she's too busy, and she can't find a few hours one afternoon a week to play. And so I've been thinking about using the app to play the bad guy, and then I'll play the good guys and see how that plays out. Although I don't think that app works with the expansions. It's just like the original book, and that road just ended on me. I wasn't expecting that. I'm glad that I didn't fall off in the water. I thought it was going over a hill. It did not go over the hill. It just ended. It's weird. But yes, I thought I might try that out, maybe. Since I find my Sunday afternoons to be, there's just so much video game I can handle during the week, and then I get to Sundays and I'm too tired to concentrate, to record extra things, and I just want something quiet and relaxing. Although most Sundays I'm so busy that I can't actually do something like that. But like this Sunday was pretty quiet, and uh, so we wound up playing board games since they're here for a few days. Uh, I talked with my one of my DMs who I play D&D with about last week's session of D&D with the other DM. I'm like, man, that dude, he did a surprise round while I'm holding a sword that won't let me be surprised. So we laughed about how he doesn't know what surprise means. Hey, didn't I open a... I gotta make sure I'm facing the right direction here. Dang it. I gotta go back. I gotta go back and get that treasure. I thought I opened a treasure map. I gotta get that treasure before I head home here. Problem is I'm starving to death, and I should probably stop and make a campfire or something and try and... Can you cook meat without a campfire, or with just a campfire? I think you have to have... Oh no, you can char it, right? Charred meat. Yeah. I might have to stop and char up some meat here, because my dude is starving. Ugh. Go away, vulture. But yeah, tonight I believe is 7 Days to Die night, so we'll be playing 7 Days to Die. I don't even know what I'm doing in that game at the moment. I did build that big pool, but I don't think I have a purpose now. We got our base built, we got a pool built. I don't know, there's only so much you can do. I guess I just need to get levels because we want to try and put together some traps for the zombies. Right now we just have the basic spike traps, and then some electric fence. I don't think we have very many submachine guns, so I don't see a lot of auto turrets like I've been trying to use on my base here, but I kind of want to take a look at some of the melee traps. So that's probably what I'm going to be working on when we stream tonight, is putting together some melee traps. See how that works out. Oh man, alright, so I was in the kitchen, and my nieces were talking to me, and I was like, you know, I'm not gonna stand up here in the kitchen when I can go downstairs and sit in my comfortable chair. So if you want to talk to me, we can go downstairs, because you're just standing in the kitchen at this point too, and there's no reason for us just to stand there. So they came down to talk to me, and we ended up watching some TV show, and then I got a copy of this movie. I wasn't extremely interested in it, but I wanted to watch it to see what exactly was going on in it. It was called The Space Between Us. I knew it was a romance, but I wasn't exactly sure how it was gonna play out. Cause there's a couple of animes about a similar theme that are really good, and so I thought maybe it'd be something like that. You know, because it's about people in different places in space, and so, you know, read or seen like story based off of the time dilation of traveling in space and how that affects relationships, or another one where uh, the the ones on Earth and the other one is fighting battles in distant space for the Human Federation kind of thing, and so I'm like, all right. So this is a American movie, and it's about this boy who's the first human born on Mars, and the girl on Earth that he falls in love with, and so I'm like, all right. I kind of want to check this thing out because it involves space travel. I'm not so interested in the romance part. It was dumb. Let me tell you, it was it was dumb. Now, it's a movie, so I do have to suspend some disbelief, obviously, but it was dumb. Like, their plot points didn't make any sense. Um, uh, and then they'd say things, and then they didn't mean what they said, and so I was so confused by why they would say it the way they said it. like, okay, so let's just start off with the basic premise. Spoilers. The movie is about this female astronaut who apparently gets pregnant before launch, and launches into space while pregnant. And then their trip to Mars takes the exact amount of time for her to be in labor when they land. Uh, at least I assume that's why she can't walk to the station where they're going to live the next 4 years, and and so I'm like, okay, A, that's not gonna happen. They're not going to not know that their astronaut is pregnant. They're just not gonna not know that. That's they have to go through so many tests. That's not something that's just gonna randomly occur. And and so uh and then on top of that, the show kept saying it was she was inappropriate and it was her mistake. And I'm like, really? Uh and so she gets to Mars, and she's in labor when they get there, I think, because they show her in a spacesuit, and there's like two guys on either side of her carrying her, basically, because she's can barely walk. And oh man, I'm like almost dead and stuff here. I need to get a bed rolled down because somebody's liable to kill me. I need to get a pill in me. And so I thought that was pretty dumb. And then she dies, right? She dies after she gives birth. And so they said they're going to be there for 4 years. And then they acted like that was it. That was the end. There was, they were going to be there forever. I'm like, you just said 4 years. You can't both be 4 years and act like it's going to be forever. But so they decided that they couldn't reveal to the public, for some reason, that they sent a pregnant woman into space. And so they lied about why she died. And so this kid grows up on Mars secretly because they can't tell anyone that he's there. Because they can't let anyone know he's there because it might jeopardize the project. And they talk about how he can't survive on Earth. And so they jump forward 16 years, and He's still on the Mars base. The Mars base is still going, and somehow he has a American pen pal kind of thing where he talks to her over a message system. So they try to make it look like there's some advancement to technology, but there's not a lot. And so I just don't see us unveiling faster than light communication in the next few years. And so I'm not exactly sure how they were able to communicate with each other because it was real time. They were speaking in real time on separate planets, and we can't do that. It's like a half hour. There's like a half hour for signal to go from Earth to Mars, or 45 minutes or something like that. It depends on where Mars is at, because Mars has got Mars got quite. I'm digging here. There's not even a blink on my screen. Um, and so I'm just like rolling my eyes at this movie because it's so dumb. And then they bring him back to Earth for whatever reason. They don't explain why he's coming back to Earth. They bring him back to Earth, and so oh man, I thought that for a second was it, but no, that's the outside. And so when he gets there, he escapes. So he's from Mars. He's got a sensor in his chest, but for some reason they can't track him. He doesn't try to hide it or anything. They can't track him. I'm like, okay, he's already got a sensor in his chest that they use to monitor his vital signals. B, don't tell me they didn't tag him with a GPS chip. And he's wearing a computer on his wrist. So don't tell me they can't track that either. But they act like they can't find him. They can't track any of the cars. They can't track the cell phones they're using. And they're just running around trying to figure out where him and this girl are. Because this girl is going to help him find his father. And the whole thing is just crazy ridiculous. They talk about how he can't survive on Earth. And so they wrapped his bones in nanocarbon tubes to strengthen his bones, but they didn't do anything for his ability to breathe or anything like that. and they just kind of ignore that that's a thing, and until the very end of the movie. And I'm like, okay, so if it's too hard for him to breathe and whatnot, he sure doesn't seem to be having any issues with it during your whole entire movie. Until the very end, when it's a plot point that he has to be dying. Yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. It was bad. Oh, now you're experiencing heat stroke. Wow, you are so whiny. Where is this treasure? But yes, I would not recommend that movie. I did not like it. I didn't really expect to like it going in, but it was worse than I was expecting. I mean, they could not track him. They knew what car they stole. The girl had her cell phone on and was using it. They had no clues. I'm like, you have access to his computer on Mars. Why haven't you scanned his computer to figure out where he's going on Earth? Like, you didn't read her notes or anything? Like, I mean, he's not hiding anything. You just haven't looked. And then, on top of it being, like, super creepy, not creepy, but so they hide the kid, right? Because he's born on Mars. They can't tell anybody for whatever reason. And I keep digging in the wrong spot. And then they can't track him once he gets back. But it also turns out that the head of the mission is his father. and the dude is like 20 years at least older than his mother. And I'm like, that's just, this movie is wrong on so many levels. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it there. So click like if you like. Subscribe, sure, and catch the next one. I'm going to keep digging for this treasure chest. And I will talk to you later.